Hello class of EDL 851. This is Nelson Rush with Module 13, a case study. A good teacher turns bad. Stress at home causes problems at school. To start off this case study, there's a situation in which a teacher who normally performed really well at school and demonstrated good professionalism started to have issues at school. It became known to the principal that possibly a situation at home has gone negative for the teacher, and in turn she was carrying that to the school. And affected her performance and subsequently the relationships with her students and families. So what do I know? I know the teacher has a history of professionalism. The school is well received by the community. The teacher is possibly having a tough situation at home. But students, teachers, families have all complained about the teacher's recent behavior. I do know that this situation requires immediate attention, and I do know that the teacher has not responded to intervention thus far. So what do I need to know? I need to know if there's support services for the teacher at the school or at the district, possibly counseling services or other professionals who can help the teacher. I need to know what the district and the school's policy is on such situations. I need to know if there's a teacher or somebody at the school who's close to this teacher who's struggling, maybe on a personal level, who can help provide some carryover services. I need to know if the teacher can be placed on if somebody can be placed in the room with the teacher, possibly a support person, or can the teacher take time away from the classroom? I need to know what other experts there are at the school who can assist, and I need to know what training can be provided for the administration and the staff to assist. Right now it seems like everybody is struggling to find a way to help. Based on the information, what problem has been identified? Well, basically the teacher is experiencing difficulty at home, and this has compromised their professionalism. Students, staff, and families are suffering negative interactions. The principal is now at a crossroads, basically how to retain this teacher and repair the relationships while also maintaining the integrity of the school. Depending on the policy, the teacher may need to be placed on leave. So a plan of action. I think to start off my action plan, I need to provide honest feedback to the teacher. So if I was the principal in this case, I would need to pull the teacher in and be as specific as possible and focus on those core issues. We need to agree what to focus on. So in working with an action plan for this teacher, I need the teacher to have buy-in and to understand what it is that we need to accomplish. So for example, I want the teacher to try focusing on positive interactions with students. We can do this by greeting students at the door, identifying one positive behavior quality for each student in the class each day, and following a continuum of responses for behavior. So we know that the teacher has been yelling at kids, or at least this is what the complaints are. So by following a continuum of responses, possibly with PBI as strategies, we can provide a way in which the teacher is following prescriptive measures that can alleviate falling back on emotional response. Creating a picture for success. We want to agree on how we will both work together. We don't want the teacher to feel alone in this. So the administration would want to observe the class as often as possible and provide qualitative improvement data on students and teachers focused on positivity. It'd be good to have the students complete a survey about their interaction and their feeling of the educational environment, possibly on day one of this action plan, and then again possibly 2 weeks later, and the teacher as well to do the same, to see if we can get an idea of how people are receiving the classroom and if it is moving in a positive direction. Now, in this action plan, it'll be important to provide support through training, counseling, coaching, observations, whatever it is that the teacher needs. We need to be providing support for this person. Fundamentally, we probably need counseling services for the teacher either at school, within the district, wherever that is, to help her get through whatever's happening at home, but also translating positive behavior into the school. We want to keep the conversation going as part of the action plan, regular check-in times, feedback, progress monitoring. We want to celebrate any success that the teacher has, build upon that, even small achievements. And then, of course, at the very end of this action plan, we want to go ahead and review if our goals or our focus has been met. Was it successful? And then carry forward with a new plan. How can we improve? If this plan was successful, that's great. Let's find a new goal to continue the success. If it was not successful, then what do we need to change to enact a better action plan? So what's best for the students? Well, the students need a stable classroom environment. They need opportunities for a familiar teacher to demonstrate improvement. Switching the teacher out right away might not be the best for kids. That might not be the healthiest thing for them to see a positive teacher suddenly removed from the classroom as soon as they experience some difficulty. We do need students to feel like they're heard. So if they are perceiving a negative environment, we want them to feel heard, that their voice is understood. And then, of course, if the teacher is still underperforming, we need to find a way to rehabilitate that classroom and possibly replace the teacher to provide that stable environment. What was I thinking and feeling during this case study? Well, as a person, I identified the challenges of balancing home and work, especially with grief at home. It is hard to maintain professionalism. I also identified that the students' needs are paramount at the school. Regardless of instability at the school or in the classroom, the students need structure and help. I thought of how if I were a teacher in that position, I wish the administration would work as hard as they could to make sure that my position situation were considered and that I was given dignity and respect towards my personal issues and also my professional obligations. And then from the administrative side, I really struggled with how to balance personal integrity, the school, students, family, and the school. Basically, how can we resolve the situation that's best for everybody, knowing that in the end, somebody might lose out. What issues are still unresolved? Well, there's still further investigation into student abuse. I mean, if students are being yelled at, that could be psychological and verbal abuse in the classroom, and that is an issue that does need to be investigated further. I need to know if the board or if a council has any input on how to deal with this teacher. And especially if this teacher is unresponsive to the interventions. And then, of course, what truly is the root cause? We were given some insight by a colleague that there was a home situation, but there was no confirmation in the case study that the teacher explicitly said, yes, I'm struggling at home, and this is what I need. So we don't know. And then, of course, we don't know if the teacher's leave is the best course of action. As it may be out of the school's hands. It could be that the board simply says the teacher needs to be removed. So how did I, as an educational leader, promote the academic success of every student? Well, students need stability in the classroom. They need to know that the professional integrity and educational professionalism are ensured. It is important to identify that the teachers need professional assistance and that the classroom needs to keep up its academic rigor. And, of course, the students, their input was valued at this point. I think by involving them in promoting a better educational environment, we could see that, their academic success was paramount. How did I promote the well-being of every student? Again, focusing on the integrity of the existing classroom. I acknowledge that professionals sometimes need reprieve, and an equal professional substitute might need to take the mantle for the educational professionalism here and give the teacher a break and also the students a break. And I think this approach helped to address the needs of the teacher, and students in their educational practice. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I look forward to listening to the rest of yours, and thank you again.